So you're now watching and listening to Fat Bidin Knows Everything, and it's called Fat Bidin Knows Everything because I do know everything. Now this week we're going to be talking about something that is being talked about everywhere, not just in Malaysia but around the world, and it's on everybody's lips. It's in all the news channels, it's in all the news websites, and I bet you it's on everybody's WhatsApp groups as well. And it is the political crisis that has hit Malaysia, and technically we do not have a government anymore. Okay, now here's the deal. I know I have been missing for a couple of weeks. I have not been making any episodes of Fat Bidin Knows Everything, and that's because I have been working. I've been swamped with work, and I've been meaning to start with new episodes of Fat Bidin Knows Everything, but I just didn't get around to doing it. But I think now it's the most opportune time because of what has happened, right? So we're going to talk about it now. I want to start off. Initially, I wanted to start off by giving you a brief of what happened. But then I'm thinking, it's been 3 days. I'm recording this on Tuesday, and it all started on a Sunday evening, Sunday night. Everybody would have been up to speed with everything anyway. Well, what else is there to tell you, right? You would already know that, there were a couple of MPs from Pakatan Harapan, led by Azmin Ali and Zuraida Kamarudin, who left Pakatan Harapan and wanted to maneuver through a backdoor to form a backdoor government. Initially, everybody thought that Mahathir was going to do it, but Mahathir actually didn't do it. I think it was all sparked off because there was a meeting on Friday, the Friday before that Sunday, where they were trying to decide when is the date for the handover for Mahathir to actually hand over the reins of the country to Anwar Ibrahim. The meeting ended on Friday midnight, and they said that everybody's going to support Mahathir and that Mahathir has full authority to decide when he wants to actually hand over the reins of Prime Minister to Anwar. And Anwar was just supporting that as well. And then Sunday happened, right? Sunday happened, and there was a backdoor government. So basically, when these MPs left, because when Azmin and Zuraida left Pakatan Harapan, they took along 11 MPs from the Pakatan Harapan coalition, and this would have meant that not only that, then Bersatu, the party that Mahathir is in, left Pakatan Harapan as well, and that would mean that Pakatan Harapan no longer controlled the parliament, right? They no longer had a majority to form the government. In essence, actually saying that the government has crumbled. The Pakatan Harapan government has crumbled. Then turn of events, something really shocking happened. Mahathir resigned as Prime Minister, and he also resigned as the chairman of Bersatu because he didn't agree with what Bersatu was doing. What everybody assumes and thinks was going to happen is that when these MPs led by Azmin and Zuraida left, they were going to actually form a government together with UMNO and PAS, right? Because then they would have do a backdoor thing so that they will have majority in parliament and they can form the government. But it didn't happen, and I think it's no point already for me to explain to you what had happened, because I think all of you actually understand. What I do want to say right now is that at the time of recording of this video, Mahathir has already been appointed interim Prime Minister until a new Prime Minister is appointed and a new cabinet is formed. The thing about this is that the time frame for an interim Prime Minister to administer the country, there is no time frame, right? He can be the interim Prime Minister as long as he wants until the new Prime Minister is actually appointed, and he can actually even form his own cabinet. So here's the deal. If you look at all the seats in Parliament, there are 222 seats, and to win a simple majority, you need to have at least 112 seats. If you look at all the combinations of any coalition that could happen now, it is almost impossible to form a coalition that can actually garner enough of the 112 seats, right, to form the government. because there are parties that are not willing to work with each other, and negotiations are happening, and you know, that it's just almost impossible for any coalition to happen that is feasible, where all parties can actually work together to form a simple majority to take over the government. It's almost impossible. But right now, so there are several scenarios that can happen. Now, there were meetings the past 2 days. Meetings have been happening. All the parties were having meetings. People were having meetings with the king. People have been having meetings with Mahathir. People have been having meetings with each other, right? And it seems that almost everyone is in support of Tun Mahathir to become the Prime Minister. Everybody seems to be supporting that. It doesn't matter from the former Pakatan Harapan government, coalition, or even from Barisan Nasional. They all seem to want Mahathir to be your Prime Minister. Now, here's the funny thing: is this is history, because Mahathir is a minister, is a member of Parliament who's resigned from his party, who is an independent, who doesn't have a majority, who doesn't have a party that's a majority in the Parliament, in Parliament, yet has the support of everyone to be the Prime Minister. And he's now the interim Prime Minister. He is the first Prime Minister to actually be the Prime Minister who is not from any party and not the president or chairman of any party. Right? Yeah. So that is kind of like history. It shows how powerful that old man is. Right? Now, the Agong is today starting to meet with every single member of Parliament, all 222 of them, to see who they support. And then he will make a decision. Now, the decisions that he can make, these are the options, right? Now, we are a constitutional monarch. That means we have a king. But we also have Parliament, and we have democratic elections as well. Now, if the king meets with all the MPs, and he decides that there is a coalition that can actually garner the 112 seats to make up the majority, then he can say, okay, you guys, you appoint a Prime Minister from your group, and we'll form a new government, right? That's one option. Another option, if it is a hung parliament and you can't find enough to form a majority and to form a government, what the king can actually do is, well, the simplest thing is he can dissolve parliament and declare fresh elections, snap elections, general elections, so that the people, sorry, excuse me, right? So that the people can decide and vote for a new government, right? Or he can actually ask all these political parties in Parliament to have discussions and have negotiations to actually come to an agreement so that they can form a coalition that can, in the end, form a government, right? An administration. Now, he can. So there are three options, right? There are three options. Either they all get a majority and form a government, or the king can actually dissolve parliament and have fresh elections, or the king can force them to discuss and come up with a majority, a coalition agreement to form a government. But now there is this other option, right? Because there won't be a coalition that can be formed that has majority of parliament, but yet everybody seems to be in agreement that they support Mahathir. So if that is the case, Mahathir, as the interim Prime Minister, can actually be appointed a Prime Minister who can form a minority government. That means he can choose he can form his own cabinet, right? Whoever he chooses from these 222 members of Parliament, right? He can choose anyone to form a cabinet, and because nobody holds a majority, it will become a minority government. And if it's a minority government, I don't know how that's going to be because it has never happened in Malaysia, right? It has happened in the UK. I don't know how that's going to be, right? I'm wondering if there will be a strong opposition that can keep this minority government in check, or is it going to just be chaos because there is no one ruling party or ruling coalition, and seeing that Malaysian politics isn't that mature, right? I dread to think of the worst possible outcome of this, right? And another thing that I'm actually quite concerned about is the fact that now, in the last general elections in 2018, it took Malaysia more than 60 years, right, to vote out Barisan Nasional. We did not like that administration, and it took us so long to vote that administration out, right, and put in power an alternate government, an alternate administration that we feel promised us things that we wanted for our country, all right? And they were supposed to carry out that mandate. Okay, fine. They were the government for almost 2 years, and they're not perfect, right? And I criticize them a lot, almost on a weekly basis in my columns. I would criticize them like crazy because I didn't feel like they were actually doing a good job in fulfilling their promises. But things were getting better, and I do not want Barisan Nasional or UMNO to come back into power, all right? And now, if the Agong is actually seeing all of these members of parliament and trying to see who they support, what if the support, basically we are, as voters, we have voted for a Pakatan Harapan government, and now the power has been taken out of our hands, right? And these members of parliament, these MPs, they are the ones who are now going to decide who is going to be the government for the people. And after everything that has gone on, with all this attempted coup, backdoor government and things like this, and people resigning from the coalition and trying to jump ship and all that, I don't trust these members of parliament, I don't trust these MPs to make the right decision based on how the people voted in 2018. Right? I do not trust them. So I don't want them speaking for me right now. I do not want them speaking for me. So maybe the best option is to have fresh elections, to have snap elections, have a general election, and we vote for a new government. But I'm also worried if we actually have snap elections, because I don't know if the government that I want ruling Malaysia is going to be ready to go into elections right now, right? Because if you look at Pakatan Harapan, they were not doing very well when they were running the country, right? And their popularity was waning. And there is a high possibility that the other side could actually get enough support if there is a snap elections being called to actually win back the government. And that's something that I really don't want to do. What I want is for Pakatan Harapan to continue as a government and for us to continue to criticize them so that they can improve and become a better government, right? And I want a strong opposition too. So this thing is making me very angry, you know? Things like this, it has me very angry because we didn't vote for this. We did not choose for this, right? It makes me feel like these MPs who I really honestly think they're traitors, right? They're thinking of their own positions. They're thinking of struggling for power. And what about the promise that they made to the voters, right? What about the promise they made to me, right? So I'm very, very upset right now. Very upset, right? I don't know about what you all think and how you all are feeling. I'm guessing you are also very, very upset. The Agong seems pretty sane, right? He's asking everybody to be patient. He's trying to do what it takes to fix the situation, I guess, or to get these politicians to fix the situation. Bersatu, when they left Pakatan Harapan on Sunday night, I thought that they were actually not in support of Mahathir anymore, but yesterday they actually came out, last night I think they came out with a decision saying that yes, we still support Mahathir. They're not part, they still are not going to be a part of Pakatan Harapan, but they do say that they are in support of Mahathir, right? I don't know how that is going to work. There are so many parties, all these parties supporting Mahathir, but yet they're not a coalition. So I don't know if they're ever going to listen to him, even if he's Prime Minister, right? I don't know, it's a very confusing time, right? I've given explanations, my expert explanation, just Fat Bidin Knows Everything, right? Internationally, right? Because TRT World, the news organization from Turkey, which serves the international scene, I guess, has been calling me, asking me for my opinion, asking me for my comments on the situation, and I've given my comments. But you know, I prefer to talk to you guys, right? You guys are my viewers, you guys are my listeners. I prefer to talk to you guys. And this is me talking very openly and very honestly, right, about how I feel. I'm very angry. I voted for a totally different thing, and now Malaysia has become a totally different thing, right? I don't want Malaysia to be a failed state. I'm quite thankful to see that the KSU, right, and all the ministries, all the civil servants have come together to make sure that the country is run well and that everything is going smoothly and everything is in operations as these bloody stupid politicians try to figure things out, right? I don't know. Initially on Sunday, I predicted that me and along with some other like senior journalists and friends that I know who are political commentators and observers, we all kind of came to a conclusion that this is Sunday, right? We thought that this is all just drama and don't be fooled by the drama, because at the end of the day, everybody will say they support Mahathir and everything will go on as usual. But we didn't see this coming. I didn't see Bersatu leaving Pakatan Harapan. I didn't see Mahathir resigning. I didn't see anything of this sort, right? But I think Mahathir knows what he's doing, right? As much as I really don't think he is the perfect Prime Minister, he's probably the best that we have right now, which is pretty sad. It's pretty sad to think that Malaysia, the best that Malaysia has right now is a 94-year-old man, you know? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. And keeping to tradition, my meal is done. So I'm guessing I'm going to have to call this episode over as well. I'm going to have to call it. Let me know what you think. I really want to have some discussion. I need to talk to people about this issue. It's like therapy for me, you know. I'm upset. I'm upset, right? So you've been watching and listening to Fat Bidin Knows Everything. Follow us on all our social media platforms at FatBidin, or get everything at fatbidin.com. Like this video if you want, don't like this video, but please do comment or ask questions or interact with me. I need something. Alright? Okay, goodbye. I've got 3 kids, 1 wife, and me to support. So you've got to, like, you know, help fund my life. So you actually can go to the Fat Bidin e-store, right? I'm gonna link it below, right? And you can get actually like Fat Bidin merchandise, right? And most of it are, well, actually books lah. I used to sell DVDs and films and all that, but hey, everything's available on YouTube now. So now if you want to get Fat Bidin merchandise, it's mostly books. So I've got books here, See, like this book. This is called The Adventures of a Keralite in Afghanistan. It's a graphic novel, see, graphic novel which I wrote and illustrated with my buddy Apan, right? It's a non-fiction one. It's about my time in Afghanistan shooting a documentary for a month when I was there. See, I'm a war journalist, right? So it's a really good book, right? I've got this non-fiction novel. It's called Operation Nasi Kerabu, Finding Patani in an Islamic Insurgency. This book I wrote because I spent some time in southern Thailand where there's a war there. You all know there's a war there, right? In Patani, right? I shot a documentary there which was banned for broadcast, but hey, they allowed me to publish a book. And if you get the book, there is a QR code at the back, right? There's a QR code at the back which allows you to watch it for free online. Oh, where's the QR code? Where's the QR code? There's the QR code, right? It's online, meaning you scan the QR code, you go to my YouTube channel. Okay, I've got another book. This is called Journo Dad, The Chronicles of a Journalist Who Happens to Be a Father. It's a compilation of my articles, my column when I was writing for the Malaysian Insider. It's all about like me being a journalist and raising a family at the same time. It's really funny. It's funny. My best-selling book, Liberal, Malay and Malaysian, Writings of a Walking Contradiction. This is a compilation also of my column in the Malaysian Insider. This one focuses more on like politics, race, demonstration, democracy and religion and things like that. It's funny too. All my books are funny because I'm a funny guy, right? Yes, I am. And if you like films, I sell this book. See, I wrote this book with my buddy Wan Chun Hong. It's a guide to filmmaking, indie filmmaking. Every chapter talks about one aspect of filmmaking, and every chapter also interviews one like a really prominent Malaysian filmmaker. It's really good. You can get all these books at the Fat Bidin e-store. Come on, feed my kids.